It's time to get your geek on with Dave Gramillion.
Alrighty then. I am Dave Gramillion. Welcome to Get Your Geek On, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode number 14. And tonight, boy, oh boy, do we have news for y'all. The USS Orville finally made its debut. It was beautiful. It was glorious. We'll give you all our full review coming up at the bottom half of the hour. And people talked about it for all of 3 seconds before Star Wars decided to release a 90-word press release that just changed everything. That just blew all the news off of the map. We'll talk about some J.J. Abrams news, including a poll we put into a field. We had 200 people respond. We'll tell you exactly what they said, what they thought, and what this means going forward. It. Have you seen Stephen King's It? Well, it just about killed it at the box office. No pun intended, I assure you. But man, oh man, what a great way to kick off the pre-Halloween. Well, okay, who am I kidding? If you've been to Walmart, Target, or Home Depot, or Lowe's, you know it's pretty much Halloween season already. We'll talk some more about that, including an interesting comparison to The Dark Tower, another Stephen King adaptation. Did anyone ever tell you growing up that you could never make a living playing video games? It has $150,000 a year sound to play video games. We're going to talk about how esports is getting bigger and bigger all the time, and the salaries are rising with it. And DC decided to get political again. Action Comics number 987 came out and is turning heads, not necessarily in a good way. We'll also talk about who Mr. Oz is, now that we know who Mr. Oz is, for all you comic fans out there. And then, yes, we will give our USS Orville review, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I would be the good. That would make Goose the bad. Hey. And yeah, sorry, Minion. That's just how it rolls around here, I'm afraid. Alrighty, so with that being said, let me make sure that I have everything that I need in order to bring you the premier talk radio show for geeks across the United States and rapidly across the world. And first, I gotta have something to drink. We're gonna talk for nearly an hour. Man, you better be able to have something to drink, wet the whistle. I also like to keep a back scratcher handy. This is my own personal back scratcher that I like to have because it gets that one spot. You know you have it. It's in the middle of your back. You can never reach it unless you have a back scratcher handy. And I also like to have, well, let's face it, if you're going to have a geeky talk show of any type, podcast, YouTube, whatever, you probably should have a lightsaber. And I have Old Blue, my autographed lightsaber of many years, right here with me, keeping the Minox at bay. And we've also added in my sonic screwdriver from Doctor Who, and we have our mascots here. We have Mr. Spock, and we have Bob the Rancor. Of course, I'm also dressed out in geeky apparel, as I am every week. I am wearing my Counter Logic gaming hat, and I have my classically trained t-shirt on. Of course, it has the old 8-bit Nintendo controller. So I am good to go here, but let me go and introduce you to the rest of the crew, make sure they're ready as well. To my left, your right, as you look across the radio dial, you will see...
Hang on.
Oh?
It's got... You've got what on that shirt?
I have my classically trained Nintendo 8-bit controller.
An elegant weapon, but a more civilized age.
Ain't that the truth? 2 buttons, 1 D-pad. That's all you need. On my left, your right, across the radio dial, you will see the founder, the Grand Admiral, the Grand President, the Grand Everything for the Star Wars Society of San Antonio. He's our minion, Peter Gonzalez.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Get Your Geek On.
All right, minion, what are you rocking there?
I am wearing, actually, this is what my brother got me for my birthday, which was this past Monday. Okay, I am wearing my Rebel shirt, which is established 1977, and may the Force be with you.
Very nice. If you look further to my left, you're right across the radio dial, you will see our sound prognosticator, the man spinning the ones and zeros. He is Goose.
Hello, everybody.
And Goose, what are you rocking tonight?
Well, we are talking Superman tonight, so I, of course, come decked out, not just with the blue shirt with the S on it, but with the red shirt over it, so I can look more like Superman.
Outstanding. That's awesome. Of course, we got to meet the voice of Superman, George Newbern.
Did you now?
Yes, we did. We saw him up at the Denver Comic-Con, in fact. Very nice guy. Very down to earth. Very glad that I got to meet him. All right, let's go.
Hang on. So you got to meet...
Hi, this is George Newbern, the voice of Superman, and you're listening to Get Your Geek On, 9:30 a.m., The Answer.
He was the voice of Superman.
He was indeed. And let's get a little bit of show news out of the way first. All right, so Saturday morning, I posted, like I always do, I've got memes and funny little pictures and jokes and content and did you knows and trivia and whatnot on our Facebook page to keep it lively and keep it going, which is good. Saturday afternoon, I go back to post something else and it's gone. The page absolutely vanished from all creation. I don't know where it went. I don't know why it went. There are all sorts of theories as to what might have happened, but I had no reason given, no warning, no explanation, no notification. If it had been unpublished, it would have been one of us who did it, and it wasn't. If it had been deleted or if it had been removed for some type of content somebody found offensive, I would have gotten a notification for it. Nothing. The page just vanished. So about 12 hours later, when I stopped panicking and got out of my fetal position and stopped crying into a bucket...
It was more like 24, but,
I had an older page. Back when I was writing my Star Wars novels, I had an author page to kind of keep people updated about the novels that I was writing. So I converted that page over to what is now facebook.com/GYGO radio. I have filed 2 separate tickets and made a post in the Facebook Help Community page. So far, I've gotten nothing. Not a peep, not a word. Despite a little pop-up box that says, we'll be sending you an email shortly. Yeah, that was almost a week ago. No, it was a week ago, and I have heard nothing since. So our Facebook page recently has gotten a lot of response, actually. The growth has been tremendous when I started posting about this. I want to thank everyone for throwing it a like and keeping an eye on it. We do appreciate it. It's nearly hit 8,000 likes now.
I know.
I mean, it's tremendous. The growth is just awesome. I still have hopes that I will be able to get the old page back. I will keep y'all updated. So keep an eye on the Facebook page, which now is facebook.com/GYGO radio. Alrighty, with that being said, let's talk about something good, happy, and uplifting. We've got some Star Wars news.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
Alrighty. So, we have a director for Episode 9. Last week it was announced that Colin Trevorrow, the director from Jurassic World, had been fired due to creative differences with Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm. So who was going to fill in? Well, speculation was all over the place. A lot of people said J.J. Abrams, and by golly, they were right. In fact, I think somebody here said J.J. Abrams. Isn't that true, Goose?
Yes, that was me.
Absolutely. I was hoping for Robert Zemeckis, and a lot of people thought George Lucas would actually make a comeback. Yeah, that was a pipe dream. It wasn't going to happen. But Goose did call J.J. Abrams, and we do not have the video evidence anymore to prove it.
Yes, we very well do.
Well, we have the audio, but we don't have the video.
Really?
Oh, did you keep the video? Oh, thank God. Thank God.
So it's on our YouTube page.
Oh, excellent, which is youtube.com. You can search for Get Your Geek On Talk Radio.
And it's got the black, it's got one of our older images on it with the headphones, GYGO. It's up there.
Correct. Alrighty, so...
lens flares for everybody.
Lens flares for everybody. J.J. Abrams is back. And you know who never left was Laser Legend. Laser Legend up on the north side of San Antonio, off a Lookout Road near I-35 along 1604 there, the outer loop of San Antonio. I love to go up there. I love to check out their 4,000 square foot video arcade. I check out their 2-floor laser tag arena and their indoor mini golf. You need to head over there and check out Laser Legend as well. So J.J. Abrams will write and direct Episode 9. And a lot of the reaction that I saw, there really wasn't a lot of, well, he did do this, but he did that. Well, I'm happy for this, but not for that. There were basically three camps. One, this is the greatest news you've ever heard. Star Wars is saved. Star Wars will be awesome once again. He will make Star Wars great again. The second camp was, this is the worst news of all time. Disney, what are you doing? Lucasfilm, what are you doing? This is going to be a horrible decision, and they will remake Return of the Jedi is basically how it's going to be. The third camp was, I don't really care. The movie will not come out until 2019. There will be probably at least, 35 Star Wars movies between now and 2019. So I don't care. Just whatever. Wake me when 2019 rolls around. There really wasn't a lot of in between. Now, we had a poll that we put into the field, and 200 people responded. We're going to go through this really quickly here, one question at a time. There are only 4 questions. Nice short poll. Question number 1, are you excited or not excited upon hearing this news? It was split 60-40. 120 people said they were excited. 80 people said not excited. Question number 2, is hiring J.J. Abrams the right move? 59% said yes. 25% said no. 15% said no, but he should be involved in some capacity. Writer, producer, something along those lines. Number 3, does this improve or worsen your opinion on Episode 9? And 85 people, or 42%, said, I feel better about Episode 9 with JJ in charge. 28% said, I actually feel worse about Episode 9 with JJ in charge. And then here's that third camp I was talking about. 29% said, it just doesn't change how I feel whatsoever. I don't care. Indifference. Absolutely. Let's see. Another question. Fourth question about J.J. Abrams. How confident are you that Episode 9 will be a success with the fans and critics with J.J. in charge? 43% very confident. 28% somewhat confident. So that comes out to 71% total of those two categories are confident. 15% not very confident. 13% not at all confident. So that's 28% of the pollsters there that responded said not even a little bit. And then I threw this one in there because Kathleen Kennedy has now fired a total of 3 directors on 2 movies. So I said, all right, so Kathleen Kennedy is president. With the firing of the directors, all the novels, comics, and movies that have come out since the Disney buyout of 2012, rate her performance on a scale 1 through 5. 11% gave it a 1. It was just the worst job they can imagine. 9% 2, 23% 3, 35% 4, and 21% 5. So if you're looking for average and above, right, ranked 3 through 5, that comes to, let's see, 23 and 35 is 38, 58. 58 and 21 is 79. So 79% say either average or excellent of the 200 people that responded to this. So people are generally very positive. They're very upbeat. They're very happy about this news. And I have to say I'm kind of on board. I mean, yes, it's a long way off. It's 2019. A lot can happen from then. But you know what I like the most about this? The consistency. The consistency, because he started the trilogy, he outlined the whole trilogy, and now he's going to wrap it up.
I agree.
I mean, it was either that or Rian Johnson. I wanted some consistency, so I'm happy for that.
I agree. I mean, because like you said, it's the consistency. Because like you said, JJ pretty much kind of mapped everything out, and I think that's a great way to kind of end it.
I agree.
I mean, because at the same time, because we're still not sure how they're going to handle Leia's character for this movie. We're still not sure how that's going to be wrapped up, and I feel confident knowing that he's going to be at the helm. And of course, lens flares for everybody.
Lens flares all around. By golly,
it's going to be like Oprah. You get a lens flare. You get a lens flare. Everybody gets a lens flare.
That's about right. So basically, break it down again. 3 camps. This is either OMG, the best thing ever, OMG, the worst thing ever, or basically you're in this camp.
And there was much rejoicing.
That's basically how you're feeling at this point. So we'll keep an eye on this for you and give you more developments from Star Wars as they happen. Keep an eye also on the Facebook page, the new Facebook page /GYGO Radio, so you can get the updates there as well. All right, so with that being said, let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about the movie that has finally injected some life into the box office, and that is It.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
I'm sorry. I know Bill Skarsgård did a great job, but oh my God, Tim Curry is hilarious. I love Tim Curry. That's just awesome. So after a horrible summer and an even more dismal Labor Day weekend, It just killed it at the box office. Originally, they projected that the domestic box office for this movie would be $85 million. They overshot by 31%, and it got $123 million opening weekend domestic, almost $200 million worldwide. The film has claimed the largest opening in September, the largest opening in fall, the largest opening for any R-rated horror film, and not to mention the largest opening weekend for a horror film of any MPAA rating. And it beat the second place film, something called Open Road's new release called Home Again, by $110 million, which also is a record. The film accounted for more than 75% of the combined gross for 12 movies that were out this weekend. Think about that. This one movie hit 75% of the combined box office weekend total for 12 movies that were out.
Wow. That's saying a lot, because I'm not really a horror movie guy, but everybody had been talking about it. Of course, the movie, but the puns are just going to be going here for a while here. But everybody had been talking about it, and everybody just loved it.
It is a good movie.
It's a great movie, and we're talking about it,
It is the second largest opening for an R-rated film.
We're talking about the movie, not just the verb, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the pronoun there was second largest opening for an R-rated film behind Deadpool by less than $10 million. It almost beat Deadpool.
Almost.
Now
that would be a great crossover.
It came really close. Goose, did you go see the movie, Goose? No.
That'd be a great crossover. Pennywise versus Deadpool.
Ooh.
Hey, there we go. Somebody call us. I'll write the script.
You know what Deadpool would do? He would want Pennywise to make balloon animals.
Make them,
balloon animals?
Balloon animals. Okay, but no. Balloon chimichangas,
Oh, balloon chimichangas. Oh, that'd be even better.
That'd be awesome.
Now, Pennywise.
This would be awesome.
This was actually kind of interesting. Pennywise, according to lore, is supposed to come out every 27 years to feed on the citizens of Derry. Usually children, because they're easier to get. This movie came out exactly 27 years after the last It miniseries.
It's kind of amazing.
It was actually supposed to come out last year.
It is? It did?
It was.
It was.
It was.
It was.
Supposed to come out last year, but because they changed directors, that bumped it to make it a 27-year release.
It's kind of weird.
Ooh, creepy.
It's kind of weird,
Yes, it is kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
Now, by comparison, The Dark Tower, which was a much hyped Stephen King adaptation and boasted a tremendous cast, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey were the two leads here. It made $107 million total.
Dark Tower did not hit.
Dark Tower.
Okay, just
$107 million total worldwide for its entire run.
Dark Tower just did not have it.
It just didn't have that special
it
that it needed to get this going. So
looks like the people who went to go see Dark Tower were a little bit more Pennywise than.
Oh, yikes! All right, that's enough clowning around.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not. Hey,
it's not enough clowning around. Okay, well, so. I look for it. I want to go see this movie. Beth likes horror movies. Mm-hmm. My wife. So I'm gonna take her out to go see this one. It'll be pretty good. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we want to squeeze in before we get to the bottom of the hour news break here. We want to go ahead and talk some video game news. This is brought to you by our friends over at Pro Defense Pest Control, locally owned, locally operated in San Antonio. I was using Pro Defense even before I had a radio show. So I trusted them then, I trust them now, and you ought to be trusting them as well. Call them today for your free termite inspection. All right, so for everybody who said you'll never make any money playing video games, they are starting to be proven wrong. If you've listened to the show for any amount of time, we have hyped esports. I have said it's a long time coming. It's going to get big, and by golly, now it is. The North American Overwatch star Jay Sinatra, he has signed a contract with NRG ESports. He joined their Overwatch roster, so he's going to be playing Overwatch for the team called NRG. Sources close to both parties have informed ESPN Esports Division that he will be playing for $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year.
You're not going to hear too much from me from this segment. I'm just going to go in the corner and cry.
Yeah, I'm not too far behind you there. The 17-year-old will make $100,000 above the league minimum because of a bidding war. There were 2 clubs interested in him, and they bid for his services. He'll be making $150,000 with revenue sharing options available, and he'll be getting up to 50% of team bonuses.
To my fiance who listens to the show and who loves Overwatch, this is what you're going to be doing, honey. You're going to be playing video games, and this way we can, live comfortably.
Yep, start working on your esports skills now, everybody.
Right.
The contract had to be signed by his mother because he's under 18. He is a high school dropout, but he is taking online courses to finish up his degree. $150,000 a year to play Overwatch. People, I've said, this is a $1 billion industry now. Owners are paying $20 million per team to get into Blizzard's Overwatch League. If you haven't figured out by now that esports is big, it's huge. Absolutely huge.
So I got a quote from Brent Spiner about this story.
Oh, yes, let's hear that.
Oh, yes! I hate this! It is revolting!
More?
Please.
That's about right. And, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Michael Jordan, I think it was 1988 when he won he won MVP and scoring title and Defensive Player of the Year. He signed an 8-year, $25 million contract. $25 million.
Uh-huh.
And, there are like 14 players that will make at least $25 million this year alone.
Huh.
This is only the beginning. The next, whoever it is, now Jay has skills. Okay, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But whoever else has skills, they're going to sign a $200,000 contract, and then a $500,000 contract, and eventually you will see, mark my words, $1 million esports players.
You're just depressing me, Dave.
It
Thank
will.
you.
It will happen. All right. So speaking of which,
all those years of schooling for nothing.
Destiny 2 has come out. The sales topped the UK game sales chart. It is now officially the biggest launch of 2017, but physical sales were actually down by 58% compared to Destiny 1. They shot themselves in the foot with a poor storyline, to be honest with you. But however, they do have 1.2 million online players in the first week. And the PC version drops next month, so that's only going to add to the total. They'll probably have about 2 million online players. I was reading something online also. Australia celebrates National Video Game Day on September 12th.
I'm sorry, what now?
Australia has a National Video Game Day, but we don't. The USA does not have a National Video Game Day.
And we invented video games.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
We invented Nintendo. Oh,
you sure Japan didn't invent video games?
That's true. They invented everything else. So.
Now, here's what we do have. July the 1st is National Creative Ice Cream Flavors Day.
Yay.
September 17th, that's around the corner, National Apple Dumpling Day.
Okay.
September 22nd is National Legwear Day. Break out those tights.
No.
Why does everybody look at me all of a sudden?
National Toothache Day is February 9th. And, of course, we don't have a National Video Game Day, but May 9th is National Lost Sock Memorial Day.
Oh. So it's National Dryer Day.
Essentially, yes. Yeah, it's when everyone raids the dryer. Where are my socks? I want my socks back. So here's what I want to do. I want to declare today, of all days, September 16th, National Video Game Day.
I propose another holiday for just on Get Your Geek On September 11th. That's because that's my birthday.
Well, September 11th is already kind of
we can still celebrate for the month.
We'll talk about that one.
Oh, look at the time.
Hey, how about that? Thank you for taking us out of the awkwardness there. September 16th, I'm declaring it National Video Game Day. It's going to be a thing. Tell your friends. All right, after the bottom of the hour news break, DC Comics decided to get political again, and we have our USS Orville review coming up. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back here after the bottom of the hour news break on 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. All righty, welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of our show, boy, did you miss a doozy. We talked some serious J.J. Abrams news. We had 200 people answer our poll about how confident they were about J.J. Abrams. We had some good statistics, box office numbers, and reviews to talk about there. And the highest paid player in esports is making $150,000 a year to play Overwatch.
Wow.
Yikes. Alrighty, but you can hear all of the shows on our archive. You can find them at 930amtheanswer.com. You look under local podcast, and you will find the most listened to local podcast on the entire station. You can listen to it there. Listen to our interviews with Marina Sirtis, with Jeremy Bullock, with Ezra Bridger, also done by Taylor Gray, and so on and so on. With that being said, this is DC Comics is getting political again. Let's talk about that.
You are stupid. 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 And don't forget, you are stupid.
Alrighty, so Action Comics number 987 has come out, and we have it here in the studio. Goose was kind enough to grab a couple of copies here. We have it here. And we kind of thumbed through it and read some pieces of it, and sure enough, it's as political as people think it is. In Action Comics number 987, Superman saves a group of undocumented workers, that was also illegal immigrants out there, from a gun-toting, American flag, do-rag-wearing redneck. And I'm not exaggerating. He's wearing the American flag do-rag. He is a redneck, and he has a machine gun. He's trying to shoot illegal immigrants. Yeah. Of course, the issue had to come out a week after Trump made his decision on DACA. And let's face it, it's the height of Trump season. It's just, no political undertones there at all, is it?
So that one was coincidence because this thing had been planned for months. And the comic book had to have been written a while back.
But still in the Trump era.
If you follow the sequence, that was just poor happenstance. That wasn't anything political on the release date.
Well, I'll tell you what you're thinking. What if these undocumented workers what if they're drug smugglers, right? And the redneck, maybe he was just onto them? No. Superman blocks the bullets before they hit the terrified people. He yells, "Stop this!" to the gunman. And the gunman responds, "Why? They ruined me. They stole from me." They steal South Park had it right. They took his job. Dr. Gerbs. That's exactly what happened there. He grabs the gunman by the collar, pulls him in close, and Superman says, "The only person responsible for the blackness smothering your soul is you." Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the funny thing about this is also I try to turn my...
is you turn your volume off.
Right. No, because I had to switch to my...
Kill it. Kill the mobile device.
I'm trying to do that here. No, but the funny thing about this is, okay, comic books have always touched on some type of social issue as far back as when Captain America hit at Adolf Hitler. Even before that, actually. Because at one point, way back when, in 1939 or 1940, when... right before even World War II started, Superman, I don't remember the issue, we actually caught Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin and brought them to the League of Nations.
Nice.
And at one point, even then, still in the 70s, there was the whole thing with I think it was Speedy who got addicted to drugs back in Green Arrow, back in Brave and the Bold. So comic books touching on social issues is nothing new.
Now, also, in Action Comics number 987, we get to know more about Mr. Oz. For those of you who are not aware about who Mr. Oz has come around in the last, I think it's safe to say, last few issues, 3, 4, 12, 18, 46. Goose keeps shaking his head, so the number keeps going up until I get it right.
It's been since the dawn of DC Universe Rebirth.
Okay, so
it's been about almost a year and a quarter.
All right, so a little over a year there. And Mr. Oz, we finally get to reveal who he is. He's been in and around Superman, spreading chaos wherever he goes. And it turns out that he is, I don't want to say who. I really don't because, spoiler alert, I don't want to get into it. I really, 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 really don't because...
So who?
No, we're not talking about it.
Who? We're not talking. So it's not it.
No, it's not it, and it's not Doctor Who either.
So who?
No, we're not doing that. I told you, we're not getting into that.
We're not doing who.
We're not doing it. I promise you that.
So it's on first.
Oh God. If you want to know who it is, we will say on our Facebook page. But it's spoiler alert. I don't want people to flip out because when you find out who Mr. Oz really is, you will flip out. And then he goes off and he kills a classic Superman villain.
Can I look in the comic? Can I see?
Oh yeah, sure. Go right ahead. So he kills Metallo. All right, that's not.
Metallo?
Yeah, he really does. Metallo is kind of like the DC version of Iron Man in a way. He has a kryptonite heart, and if that's taken out, then he dies.
But less of an alcoholic.
Yeah, less of an alcoholic, and probably no goatee either, I'd imagine. So Mr. Oz just takes him out altogether. Goose, can you make some sense out of what is going on here?
Yes, I totally can. Oh, you want me to do that here?
Yes, yeah. Go right ahead.
So, from what I can tell in the story, Mr. Oz is not that fond of humanity. And he's also looking to protect Clark Kent and the family, which includes Lois and Jonathan. So he's taken out Doomsday. He's in the issue before that, he pretty much told Lex to back off and did some crazy stuff with Lex. And now he's killed Metallo. And he's starting a bunch of stuff to show Superman just how bad humanity really is. And that all leads to the grand reveal at the end of the issue. This is part 1 of The Oz Effect, found in Action Comics, written by Dan Jurgens, who, was also the guy who wrote The Death of Superman.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, no way. I'm just looking at this right. No way. No way.
Yeah.
So now Goose knows who Mr. Oz is.
Oh, I knew who Mr. Oz was yesterday.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. All right, getting back to the political thing here for just a minute, I know these issues are built out months, weeks in advance, and I realize that comics have been political, but it almost seems like scoring cheap points. It just seems like, Captain America punching Hitler is one thing.
Right.
Superman grabbing Stalin and bringing him to the League of Nations, that's something else. But taking shots at this day and age, it just seems like it's the popular thing to do. It's just like you're doing it because, everyone else is doing it, so I figure I better do it as well. So I'm all for Superman saving lives and valuing all of humanity. It just seems a little cheap, a little tacky for my taste in particular. You could save anybody. Come on now.
Yeah, the thing is, me being token liberal here, I'm actually looking at this right here, and the funny thing is, okay, these are really bad stereotypes of obviously Latin Americans.
I know, they're not even trying to hide it, right?
Well,
it's nothing subtle about it.
And to answer those who are curious, there has been, since Mr. Oz came forth, and there's been some kind of interesting thoughts about some other DC characters. Mr. Oz is not who you think he is. He's not who we've been assuming or hoping he was. He is someone completely different.
I'm very surprised when I found out who it was.
I'm shocked.
Who it was.
Yeah.
Who Mr. Oz was.
Who Mr. Oz was.
Who? Pronouns, pal.
Oh, goodness. Also coming out on the 19th, September 19th, the Wonder Woman movie finally arrives on Blu-ray.
Yes.
And that includes...
in many different forms.
And that includes, yes. My favorite is the one on Amazon.com, which if you go to our website, which is getyourgeekon.org, and you scroll down to the sponsor area, Friends of the Show, you will see where you can click on our Amazon links Takes you right to Amazon. You can do your shopping right from there, and it gives us a little bit of help as well, so we appreciate it. The Wonder Woman Amazon exclusive comes with a Wonder Woman figurine, Blu-ray, DVD, digital, HD, ultraviolet combo pack for $130.
Only?
Yeah. What upsets me, actually, is that it doesn't come in 4K. You get all that, but the 4K is separate, and it's $30. So this kind of also goes to my point as to why the box office is stumbling so much. I saw Wonder Woman in the theater. Now, admittedly, we saw it as a guest of Alamo Drafthouse. We did our exclusive review from there as well. But if I had paid for my wife and I to go down there, that'd be $20. If I want to see it again, that's another $20 plus popcorn and food and burgers and all that. And so that's $40 plus the food and drinks. Why would I want to do that for these other movies that are mediocre, like The Dark Tower, for example, when I can get them on Blu-ray and 4K for $20, $30? And then I can watch them in the comfort of my own home. I don't have to worry about candy wrappers, crying babies, texting teens, or anything like that.
I was not the crying baby when I saw it next to you.
You were when you. Yes, you were. You were blubbering the whole time.
It's because
you were blubbering over Chris Pine. That was the weird thing.
No, I was okay. So I was, but that's beside the point.
I don't blame you. He's all right. He's all right. Okay, so that'll be coming out September 19th. Wonder Woman hits Blu-ray. With that being said, let's go ahead and chat about the USS Orville. All right, so this has been a long time coming. The dream child of Seth McFarlane has come out and made its pilot debut. But before we get to that, I want to tell you quickly, just take a minute here to talk about our friends down at Southtown Games. Southtown Games is on the south side of San Antonio on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410. All three of us have been there, Goose, Minion, and myself. All three of us have been so impressed, not just by their lineup, not just by the sheer number of tournaments that they have, not just by the products that they carry or the accessories that they have, but by their staff. And I harp on this just about every week, but it's because it's rare to find nowadays, to find a good staff out there that is knowledgeable, that is friendly, that genuinely wants to help you learn a new game or play with, find out more about a tournament. These guys really want to help you out. That's what impressed me the most about the people you'll find down at Southtown Games. So let's talk USS Orville. A lot of people are speculating as to whether or not this show will be more successful than USS Discovery.
Well.
For those of you who don't know, this is a science fiction show that is somewhat a parody spoof of Star Trek.
Somewhat.
They have shuttles but no transporters.
Hey, Pete, Spaceballs was kind of sort of a parody of Star Wars.
Yeah, but that was funny. It was intentionally funny.
That's very true.
Now, here's the thing.
Seth McFarlane, there's no Mel Brooks, that's for sure.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Okay, we're going to be talking about the show full out, so if you haven't seen it, come back to us later. It's not as funny as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments there where I actually kind of did laugh, but otherwise I was kind of like, ha ha.
I liked the show, but I mean, not that it wasn't as funny, just there weren't as many jokes.
Well, all the jokes were in the trailer.
All the jokes were in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's true. There were a couple in there that made me laugh that weren't in the trailer, and I'll get to that here in a second. But, all right, so he gets the Orville, right, and they're leaving the space dock.
And his admiral has no faith in him whatsoever.
Well, nobody else does either. So, but I keep waiting for the joke. It's like a 3-minute sequence of them leaving space dock, and I'm like, what, is a garbage truck going to drop? Accidentally drop garbage on them as they leave.
Are they going to scrape it like they did in Galaxy Quest?
Now that would have been funny if they did.
Are they going to scrape it? Will the one docking clamp be left on and it rips off? Where's the joke?
Or or something like.
Where's the joke?
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay, this is like almost as long as that one sequence when you finally do that big flyby in Star Trek.
In the slow
motionless picture.
The slow motion picture. But there was no joke there. And there was a lot of scenes where they took it seriously, where there were no jokes. And it just wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. I also thought it was terribly predictable.
Yeah.
And the opening scene, completely unnecessary.
Oh,
gosh, that was just...
That was painful to watch.
Completely unnecessary.
The thing about, the rest of the cast looks good, and I'm pretty sure that, Seth MacFarlane's character is supposed to be played for laughs, but you have no confidence in him as a captain.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot. Even say for any other captain, Like Mal Reynolds, you had confidence in Mal. He was the captain. He didn't fly the ship, but you had confidence in him. Obviously, with Kirk or Cisco or Picard, you have confidence in him.
Well, I'm hoping though
he's a putz.
I'm hoping that becomes part of his arc.
Right.
Part of his character is that this helps him get his confidence back because he's a shattered man.
He is, but
he
you
really
know
is.
what? I've seen trailers of Star Trek Discovery. I have more confidence in Jason Isaac's captain than I do this guy.
That's saying a lot.
Okay,
but the thing I thought was just kind of funny was like when they say something like in the upcoming episodes when one of the characters says something in military time and he has to count. I'm like, how do you not know this? You're a captain.
That's just funny, though. That part was actually kind of funny.
You're a starship captain.
But
That's
the
the first thing you're
joke
supposed to
should
know.
actually come at the price of the actual character.
What was actually kind of funny, I love the part where they're in the lab, right? And they've learned about the anti-banana ray.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
That was funny.
We need no longer fear the banana. Does it work on salads? I like that. That was good. So the trader shows up, and he's got the gun on him, right? And the Orville wants to know, hey, what's going on? Nothing. We're just having a pizza party down here. And, can we go,
That
please?
was actually
good. That was very nice.
That made me laugh.
That was good.
The helmsman is the funniest part so far, of the pilot.
And the time,
what a pizza party.
What was it? The time device, they played it for jokes, but then when you actually saw that thing in the drama part of that scene, you're like, "Oh, Nelly, this is some dangerous stuff here, folks."
That was terrifying.
Of course, the other funny part when they contact the guy down below and the beagle on the couch. Sorry, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was pretty good. So all in all, and the music.
The music was good. I enjoyed that.
I thought the music was bland. I thought it was.
It was the
stock.
music fit the show. Let's put it that way.
It was stock music. You could put that into any science fiction show. There was no real theme. It was uninspired.
The sequences with the starships you could put in any science fiction.
You could do that as well. Now the last thing I want to talk about here before we get to y'all's comments on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GYGO radio. My last comment is the special effects looked fantastic.
They did.
Oh, my goodness.
I will say, when he was talking to the Krill on screen, he said, "Can you just move a little to your right?"
Just got dead space there.
Some dead space. It's bothering me. Just move to your right there.
But I did think it was kind of like, this is a pretty much of a next generation parody ripoff. I mean, you can tell. Yeah, that's Worf. Yeah, that's so and so.
I'm gonna keep on watching.
So does that mean the security chief is going to get killed at the end of the season?
More than likely,
more possibly. Yeah.
I'm going to keep watching it because I think it has real merit.
True.
I think the laughs will get better. I think this was just a nice, safe. This is Seth MacFarlane saying, "Look, I'm going to do a funny show, but it's not going to be when he hosted the Academy Awards and everybody was like, oh my God, we got Seth MacFarlane to do this." Ooh. So he wasn't too edgy. I think it's going to be better than that. My official rating for the pilot, keep in mind it's just for the pilot, 6.5 out of 10.
I'd go 6.
6? Maybe 6?
Yeah.
So that's about right. But we asked y'all what you thought on our Facebook page, and I'm going to read some of the comments here. Justin Burton says, it has some kinks to work out. The ex-wife jabs were overused.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we get it. All right.
Man.
Yeah, I can definitely dig that. So let's see. He gave it actually a 9 out of 10. He really got a kick out of that one. Let's see here. Christina says that she watched it and really enjoyed it. Pilots are often shaky. But it was a fun mix of sci-fi and comedy. 7 or 8 out of 10.
Scott over here said, decent kind of pilot was wondering what happened in the next episode. He gives it 7 out of 10.
Yep.
Joshua, 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. Scott, 3.5 stars.
Brendan Peterman says, my biggest fear is that it would have the inside sense of humor that McFarlane has let his work outside of the cartoons get too much of, and it did not go there. It has a realistic Star Trek inference that yet did not go too far in the humor, which is true. I mean, there were no fart jokes.
Yeah, that was good.
None of those.
No potty humor.
There was one. There was one little bit.
Well, the opening scene.
Yeah.
There was also the guy talking about his species' bathroom habits.
The bathroom habits, but
even
still, that wasn't
blatant.
That was actually okay.
It wasn't like in your face type of thing.
Sarah Brashear says it was fun. She was pleasantly surprised. She expected the over the top parody, and it didn't happen. Bill Sweet, I blew it off to go see Wrath of Khan at the movie theater.
Good for you. Good for you.
David Edward Cooper, it's a pilot and functions well as a pilot. He also says Seth MacFarlane is a garbage hack fraud.
Joshua D. Lastly said it was a great trick. Great value trick ripoff. It just wasn't funny.
Mark Harris, I thought it was unbearable. I know it had a lot of Trek in its DNA, but to be straight up fake Star Trek. And not just that, but pretty much Trek distilled down to what makes people think it's corny. No.
Have you not seen the first season of the original series?
Or the first season of Next Generation?
Oh, Lord. That was
yeah.
Go watch Code of Honor.
James Axelred. I liked it, and there may be room for improvement. I think it's a solid show. So a lot of people, and I'm just kind of skimming through. I'm skipping some of these. Sorry, y'all. I'll get to them when we have the time. But a lot of people are saying, C+, 7 out of 10. It was not over the top.
B- mostly.
So I mean, yeah. I'll watch it.
You know what's going to be over the top?
Discovery.
Because of the fact that that's its distribution platform is an over-the-top platform.
Yeah.
In CBS All Access.
Well, at least the first one comes out on CBS itself,
yes.
so at least
so
we get that.
A week from tomorrow, as this airs,
yes,
will be the premiere of Star Trek Discovery on CBS. The first time Star Trek will be shown on network television since 1969.
Well, see, now here's the thing. I hope Discovery doesn't take itself too seriously. Because I hope it doesn't try to be a 25th century show before Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Where, look at all this cool and awesome stuff that Kirk never had.
So going back to Orville, Joshua Lashley says Deep Space Nine was funnier.
Yeah.
And on average, that was not a funny show.
That's true, although the baseball episode was pretty good.
Well, the Magnificent Ferengi was funny as heck, but
that's true.
By and large, Deep Space Nine took itself quite seriously.
It did for the most part. Right up until, the Dominion War was very dark, very gritty, up until you got Vic Fontaine. And then it started to get a little lighter. And then it started to get a less
during
less
those
bloody
episodes.
Yes.
But, in the pale moonlight.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
That was definitely a dark one. So what are our expectations for the USS Discovery?
I honestly think it's going to do better than people. I think the quality, because I looked at it, they're spending a lot of money per episode on this thing.
That's true.
It's crazy. And they have a great cast, from what I can tell. If Jason Isaacs is probably going to be the one that people turn to and expect the most from.
All right, Minion, your biggest fear about USS Discovery?
That I won't get a chance to watch it since I don't have access.
Okay. But seriously, though.
I am being serious. I don't have access. But
the show, what's the worst thing you think could happen?
It would just be a bland, show. It would just be boring. And it's like everybody's saying, wow, this is all this great technology that shouldn't be existing during the original series time frame.
Goose, your biggest fear about Discovery?
That people won't give it a chance because it's on the streaming platform. And so it's going to fail due to lack of viewing, because people will say, I'm not going to spend money and watch it that way because, I'm so used to getting it basically for free.
My biggest fear is that they try to do too much. It needs to be like the Abrams movies. It needs to contain an LGBT character. It needs to explore, but it also needs to explore characters. It needs to be in a starbase. It needs to visit a planet. It needs to do this. It needs to do that. And it loses its own identity.
So let me ask you two a question. I have CBS All Access. Do you, Dave?
Nope.
Do you, Peter?
Nope.
If you watch the pilot, what does the pilot have to have for you to be willing to subscribe?
It has to have characters that I want to know more about and invested in.
Bingo.
Okay, so if you see that in the pilot, you would then turn right around and get your free trial of All Access, and if you like everything else you see there, you will stay a subscriber.
More than likely.
I'll just go to your place and watch it.
Because right after the premiere, the second episode will be available on All Access.
Right after the pilot? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right, well, that's good news.
Bring the popcorn. We're going to Goose's.
All right, so what would be... So, Goose, what about you then? What's a home run for you?
Honestly, just stay true to the values and principles of Star Trek. Every show, no matter where it was set, no matter if space station, the beginnings of forming what we now know as the Federation, the deep in Federation lore, on the other side of the galaxy, or at the very beginning when Earth had no allies, all of them stay true to the values that we have come to know from that franchise.
I'm also really hopeful that they don't introduce a bunch of new technology. I'm really hoping that they don't, because all I'm going to do is sit there and go, how come Kirk didn't have that?
Well,
how come Kirk didn't have it?
They showed something that was new in the 5th season of Deep Space Nine.
That's right. That's the hologram communicator, which nobody had. Picard didn't have it. Not even on the Enterprise E did he have it.
Well, because it's in kind of a lot of ways, it's kind of like what everyone was saying about the Star Wars prequels, like everything looks so clean and neat and organized and everything.
Well,
Civil War will cause problems.
Yeah,
man.
but still, it's like, wow, this is a really cool ship, and Luke didn't have that. But then again, Luke was on Tatooine.
Now, I do like this. Joshua Lastly, on our Facebook chat at GYGO Radio, did say, make me the director.
Well,
I'm
to
all
be
for
fair,
that.
he said make Gramillion the director. He didn't say which one.
I'm pretty sure he's referring to me. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, that will wrap it up here for the week. This is the fastest hour on radio. I swear it is. If you want to tweet at us, you'll find us at GYGO_official. You can shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, from Minion, and for myself, I do want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, and The Mailing Spot and Pro Defense Pest Control. Thanks for listening. Be excellent to each other, and make sure to get your geek on every single day. Good night, everybody.